Hello everyone, it's Pierre The Fish Beast and welcome back to the channel. This video is about some rare fish I got delivered to me recently and what happened to them. I was so excited when I got the delivery notification and rushed home from work. I quickly unboxed them and even took some video. These were two Chinese Red Perch or Siniperca Chuatsi that I had ordered online. These fish are quite hard to find in the US, and so when I saw some up for sale, I grabbed them. They got in and my son helped me put them in a cycled and unheated 20-gallon quarantine tank. As you can see, although they arrived alive, they were pretty skinny. I administered my standard single dose of Kanamycin, Levimasole and Ich-X and let them acclimate. Unfortunately, on day 5 of quarantine, I saw that one of them had passed away. It was lifelessly slumped at the front of the tank on the bottom. The other fish seemed alert and active and appeared okay. However, as a precaution, I moved the other one to another empty and cycled 15-gallon tank. At that point, I set about to try to find out what happened, and also let the fact that I spent $40 for each of these fish. First, I tested the water. Now, this isn't really necessary if the tank environment is stable, but it's usually a good practice whenever a fish dies. The test showed 0 nitrites and about 20 or so nitrate. I then decided to examine the dead fish more closely and do a necropsy. I put some gloves on and set the specimen on a paper towel. A ruler allowed me to see that it was about 3 inches in total length. It had a sunken belly, which is not unusual in fish that are shipped, as they are usually not fed for a couple of days prior. Next, I inspected the fins for any signs of injury. The dorsal fins appeared intact. The tail also looked okay, although I tore it accidentally during the exam. Likewise, the anal and pelvic fins, as well as the pectoral fins, were intact as well. The eyes were then inspected, and they appeared to be clear with no sign of cataracts or any lesions. The body itself also looked fine, without any wounds or lesions. I didn't see any signs of parasites on the body either. I then looked in the fish's mouth, which looked okay. No sign of any food or anything else stuck in the throat. Its tongue was intact. After that, the gill covers were lifted to examine the gills, which is what fish use to breathe. They looked pink to me. They usually should look more reddish, but from what I recall, diseased gill tissue would look whiter. At least I didn't appreciate any cysts, flukes, or worms on the gills. I don't know, maybe this was the problem, I wasn't sure. Also note that the slime coat made it pretty hard to handle the fish. With great difficulty, I attempted to dissect it with a box cutter and other crude instruments I had available to me. I eventually just had to tear it open with brute force. The first organ appeared to be the stomach, which was small and empty. I had to extend the incision and used scissors. The small size of the fish, its slime coat, my attempts to keep everything in frame, and the fact that I had really no idea what I was doing resulted in somewhat of a fail. I honestly just wound up mashing up the organs beyond recognition. One thing I was certain of, however, was that the fish barely had any muscle on it. I then again opened the fish's huge mouth and saw how it was specially adapted for gulping prey. This is similar to fish like bass and datnoids. In conclusion, one of my fish that was shipped alive died in quarantine, and I couldn't conclusively figure out what happened. The water chemistry was fine, the other fish was fine, and the necropsy didn't really contribute much to my search for answers. If you have any questions or suggestions, or even any ideas about what happened, or what I could have done differently, please leave a comment. Thanks for watching, and happy fish keeping. See you next time.